again and welcome back to the Genesis Designs and Modelcraft bench, and here with a quick inbox review on another Eduard kit. This time the Kampfstift, or Do17 if you'd prefer. I have just googled what Kampfstift means. It means fighting pin, so I think we'll agree that Kampfstift is the cooler option of those two. This kit again kindly sent to the channel by Vince at modelsforsale.com, link below, for review, and I have a second sample to give away at the end of the video, so watch to the end for details on how you could win this kit. So here we go then. Quite a big box, doesn't really fit in the viewing area very well, but what do we get inside? Well, quite a lot actually. Get it all out the way. So this kit is based on, this boxing is based on the ICM 1/48 Do17 kit. This is ICM plastic in here, all in one bag, apart from the transparencies, which we'll look at in a minute. Here we go, there's a weird bit of sellotape on there. So, the ICM kit then. Anybody who hasn't built an ICM kit in recent years, because they once tried to build an ICM Spitfire 9, should probably come back to us, guys, because ICM are great. They are right up there with Zvezda these days, in my opinion. Probably better in some respects. And this kit shows that throughout in spades. A lovely smooth finish. It's got this weird visible or visual sort of look of having texture, but it doesn't actually have it. It's actually beautifully smooth with finely recessed panel detail everywhere. There's no riveting, which is not an issue for me. Again, there's a little bit of detail in the upper wing there to cater for the wheel wells. Just bring you in closer. You see what I mean about this weird visual effect, but actually the surface is very, very smooth. It's lovely. And it's a decent sized model. That is, according to my calibrated cutting mat, just over 37 centimetres across. I've got two matching sprues here. I believe these should be called frames actually. I think Matt Whiting told me off once for calling them sprues. They're frames. But here you have the engines. Got those radial engines, propellers, wheels. Wheels are in two halves. And various parts to make up the undercarriage and nacelles basically. A whole bunch of separate exhausts not hollowed, and some teeny tiny bombs. SC50s I guess. You've got some drum magazines there for the machine guns, mud guards, etc. And in true ICM style, all of it, focus please, or not. We're going with or not today, sorry. Camera doesn't want to show you. Beautifully, beautifully moulded, all very, very, very fine. Some of it is going to be slightly challenging to release from the frame, but that's just part of the game, isn't it? So try again. Gonna work? There you go. Check out those cooling fins. Absolutely lovely. So there's two of those exact matching nesting sprues there. Sorry, frames. Matt will have my hide. And this one then, this is C. We've got some quite delightful wicker work here to start with. Garden furniture included next to those wheels. I presume that that's somebody's seat in actuality. I jest. We've got a retracted tail wheel option, some wheel bay parts. Here's your nacelles in two halves. Quite nice boat shapes with the bulkheads. Probably fuel tank representation, some structure. Again, it's all really beautifully done. You do occasionally with ICM get a tiny bit of flash on things, which there is a little bit here. Oh, camera's not having a good day today, is it? There you go. but it's not on a joint or anything, and it will be very, very easy to clean it off. And the final sprue then, frame, fuselage. Now according to my calibrated cutting mat without the glazing, that's 32 centimetres long, so this is a relatively sizable model when finished. You've got a different nose here for a night fighter version. I don't know if any of the other parts are included, but that's certainly why that's there. Tail planes, tail fins, control surfaces, more structural detail, the sort of bombays areas, and some internal parts there as well. There isn't moulded on detail on the inside of these fuselage halves. So that's it for your plastic parts. So not really over the top at all. Then you get some photo etch because it's an Eduard limited edition. So what we've got in here something that my clumsy fingers can't get out. Coloured photo etch, coloured and plated for the cockpit area. With a fairly decent representation of RLMO2 actually, which makes a change. Radio faces, some handles, seat belts or harnesses, a few boxes, quite a lot of stuff there. Let's see if this will work. Come closer. There you go. Nice little fret, nice. And then you've got an uncoloured one for other areas, which looks to me like some sort of bits and pieces of turret detail, some rudder pedals, and I don't know what these are, but we'll look at the ammunition drums probably. Well, that's going to be fun, isn't it? Rolling an ammunition drum out of photo etch. I think I'd rather just stick with the plastic ones, honestly. So there you go. The camera's not enjoying that because it's so shiny. So 2 photo etch frets included. The very welcome addition of a mask set. There's really no point getting it out of the packet, you know what they look like. I've said it before, I always say it. I do find these Eduard masks almost never fit absolutely perfectly. I always seem to end up trimming them very slightly in one direction or another, so a lot of the time I just default to doing it myself. But something with this much glazing, I think I might probably put up with the slightly tricky fit. So here we got some brass in additions. So couple of main wheels which are glorious, absolutely beautiful. As ever, brass in stuff always is. I love brass in resin. It's always good, and it always fits. Got a tail wheel yoke there, which is from a 3D printed master, evidenced by the little sticks that hold it up. Tail wheel itself, spoked. Clearly this has to be a white wall, so masking fun will ensue there. I wonder if they produced a mask to allow you to do a white wall. That would be good, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. No, they don't. You have to do it yourself. You can see the cutouts there in that angle. I do not know what these bumps are for. We'll have a look at the instructions in a minute, but there's a couple of sort of fairings, and I think that's the tail wheel fairing. All in beautifully cast brass in resin. I've yet to see brass in resin be anything other than perfect, both in moulding and execution, to be fair. Really good stuff. Best resin on the market by far, in my opinion. Now, where did I put the transparencies? There they are. Glazing, much of it. So there you have it. So we've got 2 separate, entirely separate, slightly different arrangements of the main canopy. Various different gun arrangements for the underside. There's your nose glazing for the version that we'll be using from this kit. and then some fill-in parts, obviously that's for the underside. But I come in closer, nothing to complain about here. Very, very nicely moulded, beautifully clear, perfectly polished. And the frames, they appear substantial because they're slightly frosted, but they're actually really very in scale and should look excellent once painted, with the aforementioned perfectly fitting masks. I've stuck that to the edge, that was clever, wasn't it? Right, so instructions and decals. So this is your full profit pack style affair with your full colour. I'll switch, just put the light away a bit. Glossy instruction sheet. Starting off with the parts diagram as ever, showing you which of the parts we don't need to use. And going into construction, and immediately you're barraged with PE, but it's all flat, easy stuff to do, so it's no big deal really. Really exciting looking throttle quadrant type affair here with bent edge and photo etch levers. Moving on to the rest of it, you've got your control yoke and pilot seats there, and it all kind of builds into the fuselage in this sort of framework like manner. It's not really got a sort of a cockpit floor like most aircraft, it's all kind of attached and free floating. It must have been quite the thing to fly in with all the glazing and the lack of a real floor. There's your structural representations going in there, some more radio boxes and whatnot, and a lot more photo etch. And here's the garden chair. Belongs to the co-pilot navigator type guy. There's your structural representation there going into the bomb bay area, as we thought. The other garden chair then, which is for the gunner underneath. And they have just sort of only reproduced the part that you're working on just for clarity, obviously not drawn in the whole fuselage or anything. Super simple wing affair, just lowers to uppers and then add your ailerons and then plonk the whole thing on, nice and easy. Tail feathers need no explanation either. And then you have a host of bombs that you can fit, should you wish to, into this bomb bay. But I think without bombs fitted it will look reasonably detailed. With bombs fitted it should look excellent actually. And you start building up your wheel wells and your nacelles here, with bulkheads first and then the side pieces, and then build the nacelles onto it. So don't build the nacelles together and then try and fit them to the wing unless you take these pegs off, because you're going to have problems fitting them. We're moving on to the engines. Quite simple, they're just single row radials, so there's nothing deeply complex about them. Maybe the exhaust might be quite fun looking at that. Got a choice of fronts depending on whether you're going to have your nacelle panels open or closed. You do have the option of opened engine panels here, so your cowling is different dependent on that, because this one provides the framework to fix the panels to. Fit in the props. That's the resin part there, that fairing just fitting onto the side there. Plug in the undercarriage and then you're on to fitting guns and transparencies and things. And finally your main canopy and nose glazing. Nothing terribly complex about any of that, it's all fairly straightforward and logical. Here you've got instructions on how and where to fit each mask. Lot of glazing, lot of instructions on where to fit masks. I think the mask set is a very welcome addition to this kit. Moving on then to the marking options, and there are quite a few. And this might be the main appeal of this particular boxing for fans of the Dornier 17Z. because the marking options cover pretty much all of the options really. So this one from KG3 Heiligenbeil in Germany, 1939, standard camo, that being 70/71/65 light blue, splinter camouflage, nice and easy. Got some red spinners for character and a little bird on the front for nose art. In fact, there's a bird on the engine too. These quite nice nose arts just to brighten it up a little bit. Second one, KG3, again, this time from Belgium in 1940. So this is Battle of Britain aircraft, and this particular one is actually the one that was pulled out of the sea and now resides at RAF Cosford. Currently on display. I don't know whether they're restoring it or not, or if they're leaving it as was, but this is that actual aircraft, so that's quite topical for us that go to Cosford a fair bit. And that's got a club's playing card insignia on it. And we're moving on to KG76 France, September 1940, again Battle of Britain period. This one's got formation markings on it and another bit of nose art. Again 70/71/65. Starting to get slightly more interesting here, in my opinion anyway. This is slightly later in 1940s. This one is when they've switched to the night bombing campaign and they've hastily overpainted their aircraft with black bellies. I don't know what it is about the concept of putting a black belly on an aircraft that doesn't normally have a black belly, but I find it very appealing. So you know, looking at sort of Night Intruder Hurricanes and B-17s, Royal Air Force B-17s or USAF B-29s, when they fit that black, when they paint the undersides black, they somehow just look cooler. It's a bit like how SEAC or Royal Australian Air Force Roundels always make Spitfires look cooler regardless of anything else. Black undersides make things look cooler. So that's that one. So everything's oversprayed in black. It's got a unit marking on the nose and a white identification letter, but only on one side. That's interesting. Moving on again then, this is Greece 1941, KG2. So this is still 70/71/65, but we've got a plethora of yellow markings on it to brighten everything up, including cowl bands, and a rather lovely sort of eagle carrying a bomb on the nose. Much brighter option than any of the others so far. Still with 1941, but this time on the Eastern Front, Soviet Union. So again, basic camo with your RLM04 theatre markings, so that's the bands under the wings and around the fuselage, and now we've got a winter whitewash overpaint on the upper sides. So if done nicely, this can look seriously impressive, and on a model this size it can look really lovely. Then we're going back to the warm, Libya 1941 again. So this is completely different. This is RLM 79 over RLM 78, again with yellow theatre markings, and this one has a red band too and a rather offensive unit code. Again, a lot of really good weathering options with this one, with the potential for fading and whatnot of your upper surfaces. And finally, last but not least, going back to the cold end, and this is a Finnish aircraft. So this is RLM 70 overall, over RLM 65, but then has the addition of white splinter camo. Again, yellow markings under the wings and around the fuselage band, and we've then got those Finnish blue swastikas on white discs. So quite an interesting scheme. Could look really, really nice. Then right at the back, stenciling positions, fuselage, up and lower, and propeller. A very, very comprehensive instruction booklet there. Some super nice marking options, but it's just a little bit of everything covered there. It's got to be probably something for everyone in that selection. Deco Sheets. You've got 2. Stencils and interior. If you don't want to use photo etch, you do have the option here of using decals. I personally think, even in 48 scale, that a well moulded injection instrument panel, especially with a good set of decals fitted to it, can look better than a photo etched instrument panel. These are, as ever, these new peely type of decals. You can see how big the carrier film actually is on these, but you can also see how tapered it is and how it does blend into the backing sheet. So even though there's a lot of carrier film there, if you don't choose to remove it, it can be blended in quite successfully. If you do choose to remove it though, particularly in the case of stencils and these internal markings, it can look super effective. That's that, and then you've got your, obviously, your main markings for all the different options. All of it perfectly in register, perfectly printed, beautiful, beautiful sheet. I know I've said it in the 109 video as well, if you've not watched it already, but I have had some slightly inconsistent results with this type of decal. I'm not sure it wasn't an own goal on Eduard's part. I don't think they did it on purpose, but with patience, persistence and a bit of teeth gritting, I think the results can be absolutely brilliant. So there you go, and you can choose which way you want to use them at the end of the day. You don't have to peel the back of them off. You could just give it a light sand and clear coat over it and call it a job. So there you go. This is around about £50 mark in the UK. This kit's quite a lot of money, but you get quite a lot for your money. The ICM kit is superb. If you hunt around the internet for some built examples, they look absolutely beautiful. So it's a great kit with some really, really nice additions and an excellent deco sheet. As I say, I'm sure there's something on that sheet for everyone. But if you'd like this kit and not have to pay £50 for it, then this is your chance, because I've got one to give away. So what I'd like you to do, if you'd like to be in with a chance of winning this kit and a sticker, then it's just the usual. Drop the video a like and drop me a comment. And because this kit's worth a bit of money, this is the most valuable prize I've done yet. I think we'll instead of it just being a random draw, I might get Vince involved as well, and we'll just pick a comment that we find the most interesting or the funniest, shall we say. So yeah, if you fancy a chance winning this kit, tell me why you'd like to win it. Tell me a story. Tell me what you think about the Do17, and keep the pencil jokes clean, please, chaps. So yeah, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll give it about a month from when the video goes live, and we'll pick a winner, and somebody will get this beautiful, beautiful Eduard limited edition kit. So hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, and Genesis out.